This will be for the con exercise, quadratic formula. So the formula we will be using will be to solve for x when you have a quadratic equation. Okay, so a quadratic equation is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. All right, so you want it in this form before you apply the formula. So the two steps is going to be, number one, set the equation equal to 0, so that's first. And the other step is to write the greatest exponents first. All right, so the x squared is the one that's written first, the x is written second, and then the constant term with no variable is written last. So this is the actual formula we will be using to solve for x, and that's going to be negative b plus minus radical b squared minus 4ac, and that whole thing is divided by 2 times a. All right, so b, a, and c are coefficients. All right, so you want to look at the equation that you're given and line it up with this equation here, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. All right, so you will obtain the coefficients by looking at the equation and putting it in this order, as you will see. But anyhow, we're going to use this formula for all of the problems in this section. All right, so they want us to solve this equation here, and these are all going to be multiple choices. All right, we said the first step is to set this equal to 0. It doesn't matter which side of the equal sign the 0 is on. So usually I just look at the side with one term and get rid of it. On this side we have positive 9. The opposite of positive 9 is negative 9. Okay, so I apply that negative 9 to both sides of the equal sign. All right, if it helps you, you can just do this here, but you don't have to. 9 minus 9 is 0. Bring down the equal sign. And we want to write the exponents with the greatest exponents first. So positive 7x squared is first. Negative 7x is second. And negative 9 is last. And as you can see, this equation is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And now we can apply the formula. All right, so we said the formula in order to solve for x, that's going to be negative b plus or minus radical b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, a student asked me why this is plus or minus. In many of these, you actually get two answers. You do both the plus and the minus. But in their multiple choices, they combine them into one answer, so they just leave it as plus minus. All right, anyhow, solving for x. If you look at the values here, the coefficients, a is going to be positive 7. B is going to be negative 7. And C is going to be negative 9. All right, make sure you watch the plus minus signs. So start with negative b. Start with a negative, and then b is negative 7. All right, use parentheses. Plus minus radical and that's going to be b squared, so negative 7 squared minus 4 times a, which is 7, times c, which is negative 9. Let me rewrite this. All right, we said c was negative 9. I just barely have enough room. All right, and that whole thing is divided by 2 times a. So that's going to be 2 times 7. All right, 2 negatives here make it positive 7. And we evaluate what's under the square root. Negative 7 squared is 49. And negative 4 times 7 times negative 9. I get positive 252 for this right here. 49 plus 252, that's going to be 301. And that 301 is still under the square root. That whole thing is divided by 14, 2 times 7. Now, we don't know if we need to break this up or simplify it, so you want to check your multiple choice answers. So look for the square root of 301. Answer A has a radical 6. And answer B has none of the radicals. Answer C has radical 57. And answer D has the radical 301. Okay, they have negative 7 and negative 14. We have positive 7 and positive 14. Those are actually the same thing because negative divided by negative is positive. All right, so answer D is the correct answer. For some of these, we will have to simplify the square root, but on this one, it's already here. So that's it. All right, once again, we want to solve this quadratic equation. First step is to set it equal to 0. On this side, we have one term, negative 10. The opposite is positive 10. And you want to do that to both sides of the equal sign. So plus 10. Ten minus 10 is gone. Bring down the equal sign, and right here is a 0, like we wanted. Write these in order of decreasing exponents. Largest first, negative 9x squared. Positive 3x. And positive 10. And now we have an equation in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. All right, so the a is going to be negative 9. The b is going to be positive 3. And the c is going to be positive 10. Our formula, once again, we're solving for x. X equals negative b plus minus radical b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. All right, so the b starts with a negative sign, and b is positive 3. B squared is going to be 3 squared minus 4 times a, which is negative 9, times c, which is positive 10. And that whole thing is divided by 2 times a, or 2 times negative 9. All right, we have negative 3 plus minus, evaluating under the square root. 3 squared is 9. Negative 4 times negative 9 is 36, times 10 is 360. So 9 plus 360 is going to give us 369. And that's divided by 2 times negative 9, which is negative 18. Now, let's check the answers for a radical 369. All right, and let me see here. All right, we have radical 77, radical 13, radical 305, and radical 41. That means we're going to have to break this up or simplify. So let's write out the factors for 369. Okay, it's not even, so none of the evens will work. But let's see, if you add the digits here, 3 plus 6 plus 9, that equals 18. Can you divide 18 by 3? Yes. So you can divide 369 by 3. All right, so we'll start with a 3. 3 into 3 goes once. 3 into 6 goes twice. And 3 into 9 goes 3 times. Again, 123. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6. 6 is divisible by 3, so this is also divisible by 3. 3 into 12 goes 4 times. 3 into 3 goes 1 time. Okay, 41 is a prime. It's not divisible by 3 or 5 or 7 and so on. So circle the last number on each one, the prime numbers, 3, 3, and 41. All right, so rewriting this here, we have negative 3 plus minus, leave some space in front of the square root. And instead of 369, 3 times 3 times 41. 3 times 3 times 41. And that whole thing is divided by negative 18. Now, when you have the same number multiplied twice under the radical, you can cancel it twice and factor it out once. So the square root of 3 times 3 is just 3. Cancel it twice and factor it out once. And now you want to reduce, okay? Remember, when you have numbers added or subtracted in the numerator, you have to cancel each one of those and the denominator. So these are all divisible by 3. Negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. 3 divided by 3 is positive 1. And negative 18 divided by 3 is negative 6. So the final answer, we have negative 1 plus minus. And 1 in front of the square root does nothing, so you can leave it off. And that's going to be radical 41. And that whole thing is divided by negative 6. That right there is your final answer. Okay, I know that to be true because you can't reduce this anymore. So negative 1 plus minus radical 41 over negative 6. And that is answer D.